Hi folks, welcome to the Shasta Trailer Restoration Project Part 3. It's come to my attention that since I embarked upon this project, I haven't really given a clear outline or a clear plan of attack on my full scope plans to repair this thing. That's mainly because I've been kind of working without a plan. I didn't really know how these trailers were built, what the proper methods were to repair the damage or the extent of the damage of this particular trailer. I've since formulated a plan and I want to share that plan with you. I've found out that the roof framing is structurally sound, but there is severe rot damage in all four walls of the trailer. There was also some rot in the outermost floor supports along the side and in the rearmost portion of the trailer. In the last episode I cut those pieces out and I've since cut some new pieces to fit. The center floor joists are solid, luckily, so they can stay in place. However, the outermost floor joists on this side are rotten, so this wall needs to come down just as the other wall did. But because I want to keep this roof structure intact during the construction process, I'm going to rebuild this right side wall off-site, then reinstall it on the trailer so it can perform the noble task of supporting the ceiling, and then I can repeat that process on the left side wall. Sounds like fun, but then we're just getting started. But the first order of business today is to replace these floor supports that I removed last time. I've got the replacement piece right here. It's a 2x4 that I ripped down. I just used the old piece as a pattern. Luckily, even though it was rotten, I was still able to get measurements from it. This floor joist is held to the trailer frame by some carriage bolts. The old ones were so rusted that I couldn't loosen the nuts, but I have had some similar bolts laying around in my garage for a long time. So many times I've thought about just throwing them out, throwing them to the scrap pile. I'm glad I didn't, because I'll be able to use them in this application. So now that the holes are drilled, I'll be able to throw this board back where it belongs. Okay, those boards are now in position. I put these carriage bolts through the floor into the frame to hold these in place, and I'm going to put a couple screws down through the plywood into these supports. However, I'm not going to go crazy screwing these pieces of plywood to the board because I am eventually going to replace the floor. Yes, Virginia, I realize I could do it right now. However, the support for the roof is bearing down on the floors as we speak, so I need to wait until I get the walls up, get the weight off of these supports before I can replace this plywood. Okay, that should stay put. Let's say we shift gears a little bit and start working on rebuilding this wall. The paneling that I'm going to use to rebuild the walls in the Shasta is Revolution Ply 0.20 inch 3-ply plywood. I'm not sure if it's the exact correct material for this application, but it's the closest thing I could find locally. And it's a little bit thicker than the original paneling, so it'll have a little bit more strength. And of course, it's built with 2014 technologies rather than 1973 technologies, so hopefully it will hold up. It's primed on one side, and it has a nice veneer on the other side. This is the side that's going to be facing the inside of the trailer. This is going to be the interior wall, and I'm probably going to paint it. It's nice enough, I could probably stain it, but I'm going to try to stay away from the wood grain walls. But we're a long way off from choosing interior decorating themes. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to successfully recreate this wall. I want it to have the same dimensions as the original wall. To help me achieve this, I'm going to use the original frame and siding as a pattern to help me build my new wall. I've got 4 pieces of my wall paneling material laid out in the garage, and the next thing I'm going to do is attach the exterior siding of the camper to these pieces of plywood. I'm underway now attaching the siding to my wall paneling. I started with the lowermost piece and I lined up the bottom of the siding with the bottom edge of my pieces of plywood, and now I'm just working my way up toward the top of the wall. To attach the siding to the wall paneling, I'm using these holes that I drilled earlier. This is an attempt to align the siding in the same manner it was on the original wall. Hooray, the last piece! Looks good to me. I've made a few tweaks and a few adjustments to the siding, and now I'm happy with the shape. I've sharpened my pencil, and now I'm going to trace not only the outline of the wall, but also all of the windows, doors, and other miscellaneous openings. I finished tracing the siding, now it's time to take it back off. After I take off each piece of siding, I'm going to mark where the piece above it will mount. Sounds like my drill's giving up the fight. That was my shoe. I promise. You believe me. Quit farting around. What say we frame up this wall? I'll use my drawing and this old frame as a guide, and I will attach the boards to the plywood with liquid nails and a stapler. To make my cuts, I'm using my trusty old chop saw. This blade is about 10 years old, and it's cut everything from wood, nails, wire, cement, and all that abuse has left it so dull that it takes about 5 minutes to cut through a 2x4. However, for the thin material that I'm using for my trailer frame, it's just about perfect. And speaking of perfect, I think that's the perfect place to close up shop for today. Next time we'll jump in with both feet and start framing up the wall. Until we meet again, thanks for watching.